Thank you for joining me. I've got another of Lu Miaoyi's games from this year, a tournament play, her last tournament that she just played just a couple weeks ago. She's playing it against this young man, Vetokhin, or Savva Vetokhin. He was formerly of Russia, but now it just says FIDE as his federation, so not affiliated with Russia anymore. Born in 2009, so about a year older than Lu Miaoyi. He rated 2388. Then, of course, we have Lu Miaoyi. She is actually rated now 2362. But let's go ahead and get into the chess game. Savva begins with pawn to d4, d5. We have pawn to c4, the queen's gambit. Declined with pawn to e6, knight to c3 by Savva, and now pawn to c5 by Lu Miaoyi. This is the Tarrasch variation. And Lu Miaoyi actually played this recently, and I just did a game where Lu Miaoyi was on the other side of this. So Lu Miaoyi playing the black pieces in this game, but in a game that I just covered about 10 days ago, she was playing the white pieces in this variation. And she played the exact same moves as white plays here. We now have pawn captures on d5 or c captures on d5. We have e captures on d5 by black, and now knight to f3 by the international master. We have knight to c6 by Lu Miaoyi. And by the way, yeah, this young man is an international master. He's got his title, even though at the time of this game he's rated less than Lu Miaoyi. Lu Miaoyi does not have an official title yet. The international master continues with d captures on c5. We have pawn to d4 by Lu Miaoyi. And now we have knight to a4. And this is all pretty common in the master ranks as far as the way this opening is going. In fact, as I said, Lu Miaoyi has played this exact same position, and she played the exact same moves that white has played so far. Lu Miaoyi now continues with bishop captures on c5. We have knight captures on c5 by white, and now Lu Miaoyi plays queen to a5. We have queen to d2, just like Lu Miaoyi played in her game, although the international master playing that, Savva plays. And now Lu Miaoyi plays queen captures on c5. And now we have pawn to e3 by the international master. And this is an inaccuracy. It's not the best move. And in this position, this is where things change. Lu Miaoyi actually played pawn to a3 in this position when she was playing white. And that is the best move in the position. So a bit of a mistake here. And there actually are no master games where pawn to e3 was made, although there are some recorded sub-master games where pawn to e3 was played. Lu Miaoyi, though, continues with the exact same move that black played against her. So even though she, in her variation, played pawn to a3, the master playing black played the same move, bishop to g4. In this case, it ends up being a mistake. She should have instead just captured this pawn here. She should have just taken the e3 pawn. So instead, she should have captured on e3. We would have queen captures on e3, queen captures on e3 by black, bishop captures on e3, and now knight to e7 would be best for black. And Lu Miaoyi would have had a better position, theoretically. Although it looks pretty equal. I kind of like white's positions better because of the bishop pair, but this is the line Stockfish prefers. Anyway, let's go back to what happened on the board. So instead, Lu Miaoyi plays bishop to g4, and we continue. We have pawn captures on d4 by white, and this is being called a blunder. He should have instead captured with his knight. That way, there wouldn't be the destruction of his pawn structure that we end up seeing in the actual variation of the board. But we'll continue with what actually did occur in the game. We have queen back to e7. This was the best possible move for Lu Miaoyi. And now we have bishop to e2 by white. And this is not the best move, again, because of pawn structural issues. Queen to e3 would have been better. And unfortunately for white, Lu Miaoyi captures on f3, best possible move. And now white has some serious issues with pawn structure. We got isolated pawns, doubled isolated pawns. Meanwhile, Lu Miaoyi's pawn's looking pretty nice, although white does have the bishop pair in compensation. So who's to say who's really winning here? Bishop pair is great. Lu Maoyi's pawn structure is great. All right, and we continue with Lu Maoyi playing rook to d8, and she should have actually castled queenside here. Kind of a bit confused as to why she didn't do that. That would have solved a bunch of problems all at once. Instead here, now she's going to be having issues of her queen and king, her royalty being on an open file. The international master continues by castling here, and now Lu Maoyi captures the pawn. And yeah, the issue is going to be the fact that we have all these pins going on. So this is being considered an inaccuracy. White continues with rook to e1, and yeah, this is the problem now. We got the rook lining up with the royal pieces. Lu Maoyi steps out of the way, king to f8, not the best move. Actually, she should have gone ahead and captured the bishop, and we'll take a look at how that works out. So instead, she should have captured on e2, and we'd have queen captures on e2 as, well, the rook was attacking the queen anyway. So you would not, this is the better way to capture, actually capture with queen first, and then queen captures on e2, rook captures on e2, and now knight to e7 would be best for black, and this would have been a better way for Lu Maoyi to play rather than moving her king to f8. But we'll go ahead and continue with what actually happened on the chessboard. So Lu Maoyi avoids the pin with king to f8, and we continue with bishop d1 by the international master. And now we have queen to c5 by Lu Maoyi. Savva moves his queen to c3 now, best possible move. And Lu Maoyi moves her queen back to d6. Savva now moves his bishop to e3, a great move in the position, just attacking that knight. And Lu Maoyi moves her g knight to e7. We now have bishop captures on d4 by the international master, queen captures on d4 by Lu Maoyi, queen captures on d4 by the international master, and this was actually a mistake. He could have picked up a little more material here and had a bigger advantage if he would have played queen to c7, and we'll take a look at that. So he should have played queen c7 instead here. We have queen back to d7, and then we'd have queen back to d7. Queen then would move to c5, pinning the knight, and then best would be queen to d6 for black. Queen captures on b7, best for white, and yeah, white would have picked up an extra pawn here and had a more commanding position as, yeah, black's pieces are mostly just kind of tied up, especially after this bishop finds itself a better home. Let's go back to what actually happened on the chessboard, though. So instead, these chess titans trade queens with queen captures on d4. We have rook captures on d4. And now Lu Maoyi plays rook to c1. We have knight c6 by Lu Maoyi. And now bishop to c2 by the international master. Lu Maoyi moves her pawn to g6, best possible move. And now we have bishop to e4 by the international master, attacking Lu Maoyi's knight. We have rook back to d6 by Lu Maoyi, and now Savva plays bishop captures on c6. We have pawn captures on c6, and now Lu Maoyi has pawn weaknesses as well. We've got these isolated pawns here, of course, double isolated and isolated pawns over here as well. So there's some targets that white might be able to attack, especially if Lu Maoyi can't get a rook into a game. It does look like, yeah, that rook has not done much in the game so far. Savva continues with pawn to b3, and now Lu Maoyi plays pawn to h5. We have rook to c4 by Savva, and Lu Maoyi finally gets her rook some scope by playing king to g7. We have rook e7 by the international master, and Lu Maoyi plays pawn to h4. We have pawn h3, best possible move by the international master, and now Lu Maoyi plays pawn to a6. This is being called an accuracy. It's kind of hard to deal with these pawns over here. How are you going to protect them, keep them from being targets? Savva continues with rook to c7, and now we have rook to e8 by Lu Maoyi. Stockfish actually prefers playing rook to h5 here, and then after, you know, the idea is to attack this pawn here, so they're going to defend, and then basically to trade off the rooks, but then Lu Maoyi is going to end up with doubled pawns on the F file. So I'm not sure why that variation would be better for Lu Maoyi. It actually looks worse to me. So we'll go ahead and continue with what actually happened on the chessboard. Savva continues with rook to f4, just like that variation, and now we have rook to d1 check by Lu Maoyi. The engine saying it would have been better just to go ahead and defend this pawn with rook to f8, although that's kind of passive. It's nice that I think Lu Maoyi likes that this pawn is commanding the e file, can play where it likes. If it moves to f8, it doesn't have a lot of scope, so it does make sense that she made this move. We'll continue with what actually happened on the chessboard. Savva continues with king to g2 being called a brilliant move, I guess, as opposed to moving to h2. And Lu Maoyi continues with pawn to g5. This, again, a mistake, and actually should give Savva a winning advantage after the move that he plays. He plays rook captures on f7. And he should be in a winning position. In fact, the evaluation right now has Savva winning by 5.7 points. And yeah, so Lu Maoyi plays the only reasonable move. And now we have pawn to f4 by Savva, best possible move. Things not looking good for Lu Maoyi. We have pawn captures on f4 by Lu Maoyi. And now rook captures on f4 by Savva. Rook now to e6 by Lu Maoyi. And now rook to c4 here by Savva. And yeah, this is the issue with having isolated pawns. They're just sitting duck targets that you have to work hard to defend. And not easy to defend these guys as it sits. Lu Maoyi continues with rook to d6. I should say rook 1 to d6 or rook d to d6. Doubling her rooks to defend that pawn, but then the international master just goes ahead and plays rook captures on h4. We have rook to d2 by Lu Maoyi, best possible move. And now rook to g4 by the international master. King to h6 by Lu Maoyi. And now rook to c4 once again by the international master. And this actually lets Lu Maoyi back into the game. Should not have played that. She should have actually played instead rook h4 check. And if we played rook to h4, then the king would be forced to move here. You could then play rook g4 check and then just kind of lock the king away. And yeah, he won't be able to jump into the endgame. And we could kind of have, white would be able to have their advantage in this position. Luckily for Lu Maoyi, that's not what happened on the chessboard. Let's go back to what actually happened right now. So instead, Savva plays rook to c4, and then Lu Maoyi plays rook to g6. Again being called a mistake here, saying she should have just gone ahead and captured the pawn here, and she would have been closer to actually drawing the game. She'd be kind of taking her position back. She'd be defending the pawn there. She'd be winning a pawn. Let's continue with what actually happened on the chessboard, though. Savva continues with king to f1, and now Lu Maoyi plays rook captures on a2. We have rook captures on c6 by Savva, and Lu Maoyi plays rook captures on c6. We have rook captures c6 by Savva, and now Lu Maoyi moves her king to g5, saying that she should have actually moved back to g7. That would have been a safer way to play, but we'll continue with what actually happened. King now to g2 by Savva, saying that actually pushing the pawn would have been a better idea here. Lu Maoyi now pushes her pawn to a5, a good way to go in the position. And now we have rook to c5 by Savva. We have king back to g6 by Lu Maoyi, and now rook to c3 by Savva, best possible move. Pawn now to a1 by Lu Maoyi, and we have rook to g3 by Savva. King now to f5 by Lu Maoyi, and now pawn captures on a4 by Savva, rook captures on a4 by Lu Maoyi, and now rook to g8 by Savva. And this looks kind of scary here. Lu Maoyi down 2 pawns, and maybe the h pawn might be just about useless, but the fact that we have this extra f pawn, this should be a totally won position for white, but we'll continue to see what actually happens here. We have Lu Maoyi playing a solid move in position, just rook to b4, and now king to g3 by Savva. We have rook to b1 by Lu Maoyi, and now rook to f8 by Savva, best possible move. King to g6 by Miaoyi, and now rook back to f4 by Savva. Rook a1 by Miaoyi, and now rook b4 by White. Rook a2 now, and then pawn to h4 by Savva, best possible move. Rook a1, and now rook to b6 check by Savva. Miaoyi moves her king to h5, and now we have rook to b5 by Savva. Queen back to g6 for Miaoyi, and now pawn to h5, getting that pawn up the board for Savva. King to h6, and now pawn to f4 by Savva. Rook to h1 by Miaoyi, and now king to g4 by Savva. Miaoyi plays rook to g2, and Savva blunders. Well, okay, they're calling this a mistake. Savva plays king to f5, and Miaoyi goes ahead and grabs the h-pawn. We have king to f6, unleashing a check on Miaoyi's king. Miaoyi plays king h6, and now we have pawn to f5 by Savva. Somehow the king was on the long side of the board. So if somehow White could get Black's king on the other side of the board, then it would be possible to force a win here. But how can you get Miaoyi's king on the other side? I'm not quite sure. We have Miaoyi playing rook to a1 now. The idea basically just to harass the king whenever you can. And now we have rook to b7 by Savva. Rook now to a6 by Miaoyi, checking the king. And we have king to f7 by Miaoyi. King now to g5 by Miaoyi, and the players agree to a draw. There's no way to advance that pawn, and this is kind of a known draw endgame because the king is on the long side of the board. So if Black's king would have been over here, there would have been a way to force the king away and play the Louisiana position or the Louisiana technique. You can check out my video on that. In order to win this game. So yeah, this is a draw between two very strong players. And actually, this is the way that most games go at this level. More than half of chess games at the highest levels end up being draws. So if you watch this Tata Steel tournament that just happened, I did a bunch of videos on that you might check out. Most of those games were draws. All my games that I covered were actual victorious games, but yeah, that's the way it goes at high level play. These guys are really good, guys and gals are really good at getting draws. Anyway, thank you for joining me for that. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, as I will be posting basically all of Miaoyi's videos, and I will be doing game reviews of the top master tournaments as well. Please let me know if there's a aspiring master you think I should cover. I definitely am interested in knowing what you guys are all interested in. If you're interested in taking virtual classes via Zoom and joining my virtual chess club, we actually play with other students online. Check out my email. You can send me a message. But yeah, thank you for joining me. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. See you in the next one.